check you out.
Yeah, hey, that Telluride looks pretty good on you too.
You know, I have been a fan of the Kia Telluride since it debuted. It's the king 3-row crossover with its impressive tech, great space, even in the last row. You know, it's just a great, well thought out vehicle.
As for me, I have always been a fan of Mazda, so I'm super stoked to see this all-new CX-90 debut with a really strong inline 6-cylinder engine and a rear-wheel drive biased all-wheel drive system. Now what that means is that this vehicle is a little bit more fun to drive than your average crossover. Yeah, this is a family hauler that really hauls.
Amy is gonna get into this refreshed Telluride and, I don't know, maybe forget about the CX-90.
I mean, look, I know the Telluride is nice, but I mean, come on, this thing's pretty dope.
Before we get into these crossovers, remember we've got a ton of information on both the Telluride and CX-90 over at Edmunds.com. And if you're looking for a cash offer for your current car, you can head over to Edmunds.com/sellmycar.
So Lauren, it looks like this new Telluride got a little bit of a facelift for 2023.
It did. You have a good eye.
I'm quick like that when it comes to design. All right, what's going on?
Okay, so the most notable changes for 2023 is that Telluride actually has added 2 sub-trim levels. So you've got the X-Line and the X Pro. They're meant to make it a bit more rugged, right?
Ooh, rugged.
Get out in the world,
Yeah, I
see
like
the
it.
outdoors, yes?
Yeah.
We're working today with the X Pro.
Okay.
It's top level trim. You're the off-roading queen. So, I mean, I want to see if it passes your checklist.
Okay.
So first, we've got all-terrain tires
Yes.
here. So then, it's got about 8.5 inches of ground clearance.
Okay.
So that's,
Yeah, like 3/4 of a check. That's not bad. Not bad for this class.
we're not taking away checks, so
No.
that's good.
Yeah.
And all-wheel drive.
Okay. Big check mark. Yeah.
And heavy-duty cooling, so it's able to have about 500 pounds more towing capacity.
Oh, that's great. So you can like tow all of your stuff out to like the mountains or the desert and have a good time.
All right, Amy, aside from off-roading, all new 2023 Tellurides, they get a bunch of things, but among them is a new fascia, headlights, and taillights.
Yeah, but have you seen that lower fascia right there? It looks like some like geeky kid with braces like this, and there's like braces over here. It looks like that.
I don't know why my face is doing what your face is doing. But you're throwing some shade at the Telluride. I actually don't mind it. I like the rugged look, which is
Okay.
what they're going for.
right.
But what you cannot throw shade at
Yeah.
is the inside.
Okay.
All right. Spacious, just like every Telluride that we've known. 21 cubes behind that third row.
Oh, that's a lot. I think I need to sit in the third row and see what it is.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right, so third row, I'm gonna press that button. Oh, that's pretty fast. All right, this is a pretty big opening here for my big old butt. All right, pull this back. This is the main thing. Ooh, okay, so this seat right now is all the way back. I can put like my fingers there. It's not too bad, but it's not great either. Good armrest, USB-C port, that's cool. It looks like there's supposed to be room for 3 people back here. I mean, like 2 adults, I could see it for short trips, but no way would I do 3. But I do think that there is more headroom back here than there's gonna be in the CX-90. But Lauren's shorter than I am, so it might be okay.
All right, Emmy, the CX-90, replacing the CX-9. Now, I got to see this just superficially at the first look. Tell me what you think of it.
Okay, so the design of this, whereas the Telluride is really rugged, this is much more sophisticated. It is an emphasis more on performance, right? So there's curvier lines, like everything's really sleek. The front fascia is sleek. I got these giant 21-inch wheels. The tires are not an aggressive rubber. In the back, like that, the taillights are like nice and smooth and they look great. And then underneath that, instead of those exhaust outlets, like having those big oversized exhaust outlets, instead the pipes actually face down. So there's nothing there. So the whole rear is just like, bam, right there in your face.
Yeah.
This is appealing to the customer that definitely is more performance oriented. And you can tell that because in the back, behind those rear seats, 21 cubes in the Telluride, this one is like 14, 15 cubes. It's so small.
All right, it's a little tight getting in to this third row. You gotta step up and then this seat sits a little low. I'm liking the interior. Cup holders, USB-C. There's air vents here, so you're not forgotten about in the back seat. What I don't like is, look, I'm short, I'm 5'3". I have knee room if I want to sit here, but like, I'm not gonna sit like that. I want to spread my legs out even just a little, and it's a bit uncomfortable. So if I were Emme, I would probably, because Emmy's much taller than me, she would probably have a difficult time back here. I think this third row back here is kind of reserved for maybe a kid.
So Lauren, the first thing I noticed when I get in here is like this whole dash area. I love it. I think it looks great.
Yes, this X Pro trim, oh my gosh, I'm loving the two-tone.
Yeah.
The tan and the charcoal black color. It just gives it a really elevated look, and I'm just loving that. The steering is actually pretty decent.
Yeah?
It's what you would expect, you know? It's light when I'm going like parking lot type speed, and then, you know, it just weights up and gives you security when you need to turn. So honestly, I have no true complaints with the steering.
Yeah. That's great. I love it. All right, so it feels good in the turns, but what happens on a straight line, like maybe a freeway on-ramp?
Yes, so actually our 0 to 60, about 7.5 seconds out of it.
That's not bad.
So yeah, it's the Honda Pilot has gotten the same. It's similar to the Palisade.
Okay.
So it's right in the vein of kind of where we would think it would be.
Yeah.
And I mean, with 291 horses, I mean, that's a decent amount of power to get you where you need to go.
Yeah.
Amy, let's talk fuel economy.
Very important.
The EPA estimated range on this is 21 combined.
Okay.
So, all right, you know, I'm not doing cartwheels. We were able to squeeze 23.
Oh.
So, yeah, in our testing. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
And you were just driving like a normal human being, right?
Exactly, like I'm driving now. I'm so normal. Don't I feel normal?
Yeah.
So, Emme, how are you feeling?
I feel really good. What I love is that we have heated and cooled seats up here in the front, and we have the cooled on right now, and it's great. And I also noticed that heated and cooled seats in the second row as well, which is pretty great.
Yes.
Like this leather feels good. The seats feel pretty supportive. But one thing I want to touch on is I do love Kia's infotainment system, but one thing that's really interesting is that you have to have wired Apple CarPlay. I'm like, I don't understand why this is the premium product, but you still have to be wired in. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, is it that big of a deal? But it's still like a weird little quirk. I mean, listen, the Telluride it feels nice. You know, we get good acceleration. We've got a little bit of off-road capability. Like, I can dig it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're having a good experience.
Yeah, I am. I'm having a good experience, but I want to drive my car.
All right, Emme, so listen, this interior in the CX-90,
it's pretty good.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's giving luxury is what it's giving.
Mazda does really good interiors, especially like at this price point. However, with all of this white, like, would you put a kid in here?
Absolutely. I don't even want to put myself in here.
No,
I can't even wear white on a regular basis.
Yeah. But the big difference here between your Telluride and mine is this. I have a 3.3 liter inline six turbocharged engine with 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, which means I can go from 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds, which is a second faster than your Telluride.
Yeah, I feel the difference in the acceleration.
And what's great too is that this is a mild hybrid, so that doesn't necessarily like give you any, it gives you a little bit more power and it helps a little bit in gas mileage.
Right.
But if you're really into the efficiency, you can get this in a plug-in hybrid version. And that actually has more power. So I'm very interested in driving that and to see how that feels. It'll be a little bit heavier, but I think it'll still be pretty fun to drive. What I am worried about is this tech. Dude, it's real bad.
Emme, I cannot lie to you.
It's real bad.
The tech in most Mazdas drive me nuts.
Yeah.
I really, it's the click wheel, it's the clunky menu.
Yeah, so for this, when you're in the Mazda native system, you can only use the dial, and then you push on the dial, and that is what makes your selection. The good news is that there is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto here, and when you switch over to that, then suddenly this becomes a touch screen.
Right, so now I can swipe easily,
which you cannot do in the native system.
Yeah.
And here it's wireless, so I don't have to worry about the wired like we do in the Telluride.
Okay, so those are some pluses.
Yeah, those are some pluses.
But still, overall, like, yes, it has Apple CarPlay, but the overall system still feels a little clunky to me.
I agree. No, I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. And also a lot of it's driver assistance tech. So, you know, I also have something that's equivalent to your highway drive assist. Here it's called traffic jam assist. It's okay. Like I kind of want to be more in control, and I just like using it during traffic jams, which is probably why it's called traffic jam assist. Overall vibe, this is a crossover for adults, especially in this trim, right? It's more fun to drive. There's a little bit less room. The tech is not as good, but if you are someone who values your driving experience, you should give this a look. You could go and spend like $10,000 more and get something that's a little bit more upscale and luxury, and you would still get that same driving experience and better tech. But at this price point here, the Mazda's doing pretty good. Lauren, do you want some spray cheese? I know, look at that, so good.
I'm gonna stick with.
Okay, I'm gonna distract
cheese.
myself. Let's talk about the price. Price. It's a big thing. So what does this guy go for?
So first of all, I'm glad we're in the Telluride doing this because there's more space.
Yeah, totally.
It's priced at $55K, which, given the space you get, given all the intricate details that you get with this vehicle, it feels fair to me. It feels like you get a decent bang for your buck.
Yeah, and people who are buying three-row crossovers, what do they want? They want space, number one, and they want to have good tech. Performance is not really on their list. Now that is where the CX-90 really excels, right? Because that inline six is great, but the tech isn't as good and the space is not as much. And that thing, in that top trim, $61,000. Sure, you can get something that's cheaper in the baser trims, but still, top trim to top trim, I mean, that's like a $7,000, $8,000 difference.
Yeah.
So when we get into it, like, I don't know, which one would you take home?
Honestly, it's not even that hard for me personally. It's the Telluride.
Yeah.
For me, it feels like Kia sat their demographic down in a room and said, what kind of crossover, what kind of vehicle do you want? They heard their people and they delivered.
Right. Yeah, I mean, listen, I love a good performance thing. I'm a Mazda fan, but having said that, if I will have a three-row crossover, it's because I want space.
Right.
And also, I do hate the tech in that, so I think I would go for the Telluride too.
Look at you!
That's right. Despite the fact that it's got a lot more power and is more fuel efficient, the CX-90 just can't overcome the Telluride's superior space, easier to use tech, and significantly lower price tag. The Mazda nets an 8.1 score from our test team, while the Telluride sits pretty with an 8.4. Both are great choices, but the Kia remains the better bet for more families.
Cheers.
Oh. Cheers.
I'm
Wait,
glad
I'm gonna put that big piece of cheese on it.
Not the whole.
Yes.
Never. All right. Little baby cheese.